Hello everyone, welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. My name's Stephen. Today I'm joined by Owen and Teddy, and this is going to be another Should We Sign video. The featured player today is Dele Alli. It's come out in the news recently that Everton are looking into a loan move for him. First of all, hello if you're watching this on YouTube or if you're listening to it on the podcast. If you're on YouTube and you didn't know, we do have a podcast. It's available on all your favourite podcast providers, Spotify, iTunes, any of them. Where you can also hear everything we talk about in these shows and also the special quiz that Terry has the privilege of hosting at the end of every show. But let's get straight into it, guys. I'll go to you, Owen, first. Dele Alli, what's your first impressions? Would you take him?
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, yeah, I think this is a deal that I'm surprisingly pushing. The more I think about it, I think he'd be perfect. I know I've said a million times, we don't necessarily are crying out for an attacking midfielder. But I think if you add someone with Dele Alli, you give him a role, you've got someone like Ancelotti around and giving him confidence to play. I think if you give him a role, you could and get a tune out of him. I think he'd be a fantastic buy. I think I'd get him on a loan initially in January, and then in the summer, if he was to become available and we liked him and he liked the club, yeah, I would take Dele Alli all day because I think he offers something that's really rare in football. A midfielder who can score goals. I'm sure he's put 20 goals up in a season before. I think if we could get this one done, I don't think people are expecting me to say yes to Dele Alli, but yeah, I'd much rather have Dele Alli than Isco personally. But we'll see what.
Seeing how well he works with Harry Kane as well, I think we could really strike up a partnership between him and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Teddy, I'll ask you the same question, mate. What do you think of Dele Alli? Would you take him?
It's a hard no from me, for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, they're not going to sell him to us, and they might loan him, but they wouldn't sell him to us. So we'd be taking on a player who would be going back to Spurs at the end of any loan, because the price tag, even if they were willing to sell him to us, would be astronomical because he's an English player with a high profile. So, we'd be looking at 40 million territory. So there's that straight away. I don't think it's realistic. Secondly, where does he play? We play 4-3-3. He plays best as a number 10 off a striker, as Owen said with Harry Kane. He's had his best games, but we don't play like that. Certainly not consistently. In our two prepared formations would be under Carl would be first it was 4-4-2, now it's 4-3-3. No space for him in either of them. And thirdly, this is a little bit, I expect a bit of pushback on this, but after watching the Spurs documentary, the All or Nothing, doesn't strike me as the type of character who, we need brought into the club. Mourinho has got him sussed straight away. He doesn't work hard. He's not one who puts it in training, which is we know Carlo likes. It's how he bases the team selection at the weekend, as who's putting it in training. Mourinho pulls him up straight away. You see times when he's coming in at half time or after games and he's petulant, he's childish, he's not one for pulling with the team. He's more about himself, and I don't want more of that in the club. I don't want another one of those players. We've got players like that already, but we don't want another one to come in and when the chips are down, he doesn't fight. He just starts pointing the finger at everyone else. You want more players like Alan in the team who are willing to battle and scrap and fight. Yeah. So for me, Dele Alli, there's just a no from me. I don't think he's a decent player. Yeah, I do think he's a good player in the right team. Who can get the best out of him, but he's not doing it for Mourinho, so I don't think Ancelotti will have any effect either. He's just not for me, not for Everton.
A good point there, Terry, about the All or Nothing documentary. That struck me as something that I picked up on as well when I seen the links, is that Mourinho described him as a terrible trainer, that he's awful in training.
He described him as more than that.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? The amount of swearing Jose Mourinho does in that documentary is unbelievable. But obviously, as you mentioned there, would they sell him to us at the end? And is there a point getting him on loan for half a season if he's not going to be? And if he does play well, are we going to be able to get him on a permanent? Because are Tottenham going to want to sell him to us? Is he going to come to us permanently? He's also linked with a move to PSG, which is something we've seen in like numerous transfer windows. I was reading before that this is like the fourth time they're interested in him in the last 4 windows. So it's still up in the air where he's going. There's Harry Winks there as well, who's been linked in the same breath as him. Do you think that's a better option?
No, I know what I'm saying sounds really controversial about Dele Alli, but I think I just see something there that I think we could tap into. I don't expect this deal to happen. I don't expect Everton to be interested, but I do look at this and think if we can get a tune out of him, he's a player that could really lift us. And I did watch that all or nothing documentary, and he did strike me as a bit of a let's just say not brilliant character, but I think he's also someone he could be a really good character to have around as well, because he seems like he cares about results. And I mean that's just the way I took it. But he obviously Pochettino got a tune out of him, so
yeah.
I mean, he's not Lingard where he's just a bad patch. If he comes to us on loan and we could get a deal done for him, then I would be interested in this one. But like I said, I can understand why Terry wouldn't want him, but I think this is a deal that, to me, it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense, if you know what I mean. It isn't a deal that I would have said. If you said name 10 midfielders we're going to buy, I wouldn't name Dele Alli as one that could happen. But when I saw it the other day, I thought, I'm intrigued.
It seems like a FIFA career mode sort of signing, doesn't it? Something that you'd never do in real life. That ends up pulling through because you've offered that much money. We did a vote on Twitter. We asked a simple question: would you have Dele Alli at Everton? Out of 3,300 votes, it was a 66-34 swing in yes. So a lot of people on your side there, Owen. Terry, you've obviously made some good points, and I'd say from the two of you, I'm siding with Terry a bit more. I think I don't know, especially with the amount of midfielders we've got, Decore Allen, I think, and the potential of us signing on a permanent deal, an attacking midfielder in January, someone like Luis Alberto, Isco, someone like that. I do think there is better options.
Isco.
Yeah, and that one's another one that's split opinion. I'm obviously, at 24 years old. You mentioned that as he's a young player, but he's as Terry said, I can't see him signing on us for the 6-year deal. I can see him coming to us on loan to try and get it back in the England squad. And
that may be so, but
yeah, go on, Owen. Sorry,
I'm saying that might be so, but I think there's so many of these signs you look and think, oh, this isn't going to work. He's just here to further his career and then he'll leave. He'll be alone. But I look at our midfielders. I look at Allen, Decore, and I look at them as starters. But then there's about 5 of them. I just wouldn't give the time of day. And I think if you could give Dele Alli, like how we played on Saturday, we had 2 banks of 4 and we had number 10. No, I would probably say we do that with Dele Alli in that role. I think it could work out. But it's not. You said 66% of people said yes. I'm really surprised by that because I thought it'd be a hard no from most people.
I was surprised with it as well.
But I don't expect this deal to happen. But it's a deal that I would welcome.
Listen, he's miles better than any of our similar players. Like he's absolutely, he pisses on Sigurdsson. I know Sigurdsson had a good game against Chelsea, but like he pisses on the likes of him from a great height. But the likes of Sigurdsson, the likes of Iwobi, all right, Iwobi's coming to a little bit of form. We're changing their position to suit our system. We're playing Sigurdsson, apart from the last game, which is the outlier. We're playing him as a centre midfielder rather than a 10. We're playing Iwobi as a right midfielder at the minute or a right wing back rather than as a 10. We don't play 10s. We've got several 10s or 10 type players in the team. So we'd end up bringing in Dele Alli if you forget me other points about, the realism aspect of it, of them letting us have a player like that, or us being able to afford him. We were bringing him in and then be immediately trying to change his position to find a place for him in the team. So for me, it's just a wrong on all levels. It's not about the quality of Dele Alli. It's just a terrible, terrible fit for me.
This is off topic, but I tell you, midfielder I love at Everton, John McGinn.
Yeah.
He probably
He-
could work. He could work well in a
He-
midfield for us, and he's good for Aston Villa as well.
I mean, I'd much prefer to spend some money on John McGinn, but
You said then, Stephen, about Harry Winks. Sorry, like Harry Winks, he hasn't got. I pulled up three issues I've got with Dele Alli. He hasn't got, the attitude issue or where would you play him, but he still has the can you afford and would they loan us to him type, question. And that's, again, for me, no. I'd have him. I think he'd be good in our team, but they wouldn't let us have him and we wouldn't be able to afford him because they'd be like, we want big money for him because Tottenham aren't soft. They don't sell low.
No, of course, Jose Mourinho's not a soft manager either.
No.
no, I don't see any of them deals happening. But
yeah, it really did
intrigued
confuse me, to be honest, because I covered Harry Winks on the news report, and that's one I can probably see happening because it's happened similarly in years when we've signed players like we've signed a lot of players from Man United, like Schneiderlin comes to mind, players like that, where teams above us.
I think they're both better than him.
Yeah, where teams above us have sold midfielders who were slightly down in the pecking order to us. I can see Harry Winks happening, but Dele Alli, that one really confused me. It feels a bit more like Ali's asked for a move and Everton have stated a bit of interest in him. Do you know what I mean?
Look, I'll be really, really shocked if we've bought Dele Alli, but it intrigues me, let's just say.
Yeah, it's definitely a confusing one, but that's going to be it for this one, guys. Just a short video about Dele Alli. It was good to get two different perspectives on it as well. Let us know in the comments. Would you take Dele Alli? And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.